Now, another thing that I mentioned before is that the wire feed on these machines and the amperage are tied together. So the higher speed you turn up your wire, the more amperage is going to be coming out. But that can also be a problem, especially when you're welding steel that's too thick. Normally that happens, that's normally what you want. You want high amperage with thick steel. But in this situation, you can't really do that because you can't control the wire speed and the amperage separately. So in that situation where you're welding and you're getting like bird crap looking welds, most of the time what you'll have to do is you have to turn your welder down and then just weld slower, because you can't make those two different adjustments. At least that's what I do. You got high and low. I hardly ever, medium and maximum. I hardly ever weld on medium, on minimum. I hardly ever do that. Normally it's maximum all the way and I just adjust the feed. These Harbor Freight welders are good to start out with. They're good if you're only going to be doing a little bit of work. What I do, it's not good because I do a lot of welding with it. And the problem is that once you start getting too used to using this welder, you can start using it pretty effectively. But when you get a higher grade, more expensive welder, you'll end up laying beads and putting way too much of a bead down when you weld. So, and I know that because I've been on other people's welders after been using this one for such a long time, and man, I tell you what, my beads come out like 1/2 inch thick, and they're like a 1/2 inch wide. It's like, my God, and they're great for just starting out, messing around. Building a go-kart or building a buggy or anything like that, homemade type of thing, they're great for that. But if you're going to get into doing more work like around your farm or around doing a little bit of commercial stuff, that kind of thing, you want to get yourself a higher grade welder because you'll be able to adjust your wire feed, your amperage, your voltage. You can do all those kind of adjustments and learn how to weld that way. There's a lot of different types of welding out there. There's brazing, which is like just a big way of soldering stuff together, like what they do with plumbing, piping, and stuff like that. Then there's this is MIG. There's TIG. There's stick. There's sonic, which is pretty. You have to be really schooled on that kind of stuff. But I would suggest that if you have plans on doing a lot of welding, then the first thing you want to do is just jump right in with both feet, get yourself a really good welder. A $600, $700, $800 welder, because you're going to get used to that welder. You want to work with one welder, especially when you first start out, first year or two, if you're going to be doing a decent amount of welding. Go for a higher grade type of welder. Don't do what I'm doing. Don't go the absolute cheap way that you possibly can because you ain't got enough money, and use a little gimpy welder like this to build everything and everything. That's not a good idea. So if I had the money, I would get myself a higher grade welder, but I can't, so I have to deal with this. And it is time consuming, especially when I have to start welding thicker steel. It's a lot more time consuming because I have to turn the wire feed down and sit there and do my little circles and pull it together, and that kind of stuff. But if you're just going to be doing simple stuff, maybe repairing your lawn tractor or building a go-kart or some little simple stuff around the house, these welders are really good. These welders are great. But if it's going to be one of those things where you want to start a small little business or anything like that, I would not recommend you do this. Don't go this route. Don't do what I'm doing and building everything. So I just cut these 2 pieces of pipe that are going to go up over the axles to protect the axles just from the elements. And these are my spacers. That's between my bearing, my sprocket, and then my sprocket to another bearing. That's what these are. Spray painted those. Alright guys, so I'm going to get on out of here. I hope this information was valuable to you. If it is, great. Thumbs up the video. If it's not valuable to you, then, I don't know, thumbs down it, I guess. But like I said, I get a lot of questions about people wanting me to do more information on my welder, and problems I've had. I've looked on YouTube here, and I've seen a lot of people talking about these welders, but it seems like nobody talks about the problems that they have with them. So I thought, hey, why not? I'll tell everybody about all my screw-ups and crap that I do with this dang thing. Okay, guys, well, I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers and all my new viewers. Hello, and I'll see you guys in the next one.